So it is 6 o'clock. Item number 19 is adoption of a resolution upholding Planning Commission Resolution number 2022 P15, certifying the supplemental environmental impact report and associated findings of fact, along with a mitigation monitoring and reporting program, and upholding resolution number 2022 P16, approving a tentative tract map, development plan, and conditional use permit to allow a horizontal mixed-use development consisting of a 300-key resort hotel that includes a surfing wave lagoon, 134,000 square feet of commercial, retail, and office space, and 700 residential units on a vacant 92-acre site located generally at the northeast corner of State Route 76 and Foussat Road, which is called Ocean Camp. That is the applicant. Applicant is Oceanside Partnerships, LLC. Excuse me, if you could be a little quieter. Appellants are San Diegans for Sustainable Economic and Equitable Development and Diane Nygaard. And I believe that one of the applicants has withdrawn their appeal. So we do have still Diane Nygaard. I want to go ahead and open this hearing. And my apologies again to everybody for that item. I was hoping we could address that item number 22, but we will go back to that after this hearing. So again, my apologies. We have to take up the 6 o'clock, which was noticed for 6 o'clock. Okay, so I have opened the hearing, and I am asking our council members to disclose any constituent contacts and correspondence.
Staff, applicant, and public.
Staff, a lot of public emails, and also in-person communications.
And public.
Staff, applicant, public.
Okay. Mr. Navarro, do we have any correspondence and or petitions?
All correspondence has been forwarded to the council prior to 4 o'clock. However, we did receive a communication from, I believe, the Sierra Club after 4 o'clock that was emailed to council.
Okay. We are going to begin with testimony. We're going to begin with a presentation by Sergio Madera, our city planner. Mr. Madera.
Thank you, Mayor Sanchez, members of the City Council. My name is Sergio Madera, and I'm the city planner for Oceanside. I'm also the project manager for the Ocean Camp project. Tonight, you're being asked to consider an appeal of the Planning Commission's approval of the Ocean Camp mixed-use development project, which consists of a tentative map, a development plan, and a conditional use permit. Staff recommends that the council adopt the resolution upholding the Planning Commission's certification of the final supplemental environmental impact report and associated mitigation, monitoring, and reporting program, and approval of tentative map, development plan, and conditional use permit to allow a horizontal mixed-use development consisting of a 300-key resort hotel that includes a surfing wave lagoon, 134,000 square feet of commercial, retail, and office space, and up to 700 residential units on a vacant 92-acre parcel generally located at the northeast corner of State Route 76 and Foussat Road.
So we are going to be hearing first from the appellant and then from the applicant. Each one has up to 20 minutes to do a presentation. The appellant has the option of reserving some or any of the 20 minutes for rebuttal. So let us know if you wish to know how long, at what point you're speaking. At what point you are speaking, how much time you have left. Yeah. So we are going to begin first with Ms. Diane Nygaard, who is the appellant. And then again, after that, we will hear from the applicant, and each one has up to 20 minutes. Ms. Nygaard.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Diane Nygaard, and I'll be the first and last of our 3 speakers representing Preserve Calavera tonight. And I really wish I could talk as fast as Mr. Madera and still just cover a representative sample of what we said were the issues raised in our appeal. He just highlighted a few of them. We agree this project could bring some benefits to Oceanside. But the project before you tonight also includes huge risks and huge impacts. Those impacts include traffic congestion, air pollution, greenhouse gases, compromising the regional wildlife corridor, among many others. There are already extensive technical comments on the record. They document why using the 2008 EIR is not sufficient, the many problems with the project, the faulty analysis of impacts, and inadequate mitigation. That's why we oppose the project and certification of the EIR. We are not going to repeat all those details tonight. But this is a discretionary project. It is not a by right project. It's not one where you can throw up your hands and say the state made us do it. This one is on you. Tonight, you can take action to fix this project. Deny it, or at a minimum, table your decision until all of these issues are addressed. And we're just going to highlight a few of them, starting with traffic and land use. Traffic's a serious problem. It does not matter to people driving on those roads that it will produce less traffic than a shopping center that was approved 14 years ago and never built. What matters is that this project will generate 19,040 ADT, 19,040 new trips every day. And these trips are on roads that are already congested. Their traffic study identified 4 roadway segments and 7 intersections below the standards in our general plan. Some minor roadway improvements will be built by the developer, but for the 7 big ones, they're just required to contribute $560,000 of fair share cost. That covers only a small fraction of what it will cost to actually build those improvements. And 5 of those 7 locations are under the jurisdiction of Caltrans, not the city of Oceanside. What is the status of securing the rest of the funding needed to actually build those improvements? What's the commitment from Caltrans, and when will they get built? Why would you approve a project tonight knowing it will cause traffic failures on our streets unless you know when and how they will be addressed? The developers claim the project is consistent with existing smart growth and with future plans for smart growth. That's simply not true. Our comment letter included the actual maps. There's no existing smart growth area on Mission Avenue, and the smart growth corridor and the draft general plan is along Mission Avenue, not State Route 76, where this project is. The project site is identified within the corridor planning area, but as already approved, with no analysis of whether it complies with the new policies or not. Why does that matter? Because our CAP says that beginning in 2019, 50% of growth is supposed to be along our smart growth corridors. Our required greenhouse gas emission reductions are based on that. If this project is not smart growth, the residents of Oceanside end up with excess greenhouse gases and the bill to mitigate all of them. Traffic, land use, and greenhouse gases. 3 reasons for you to use your discretion, deny this project, or table this decision until all these issues are addressed.
Hi, my name is
Hold on. Excuse me, you're taking up her time.
taking it.
You're taking it.
My name is Ellen Bartlett, and I'm going to talk about housing and affordable housing. Our inclusionary housing ordinance requires that a project of this size provides 10% affordable housing units. State law requires every city through allocations from their regional planning agency to have plans, zoning, and development standards that demonstrate they can achieve their mandated housing numbers. RENA has a target number of housing for each income level. The hardest ones to achieve have always been those for low income and very low income households. Our current housing plan covers the 8-year period from 2021 to 2029. You can see the handout for more details, and you can see the lopsided current numbers we have. And since this report was done last February, hundreds of more moderate and above moderate units have been approved. Very few affordable housing units, which is putting us further behind. We are pleased that we just found out tonight that the developer did agree to build all affordable housing units on site rather than the initial proposed 5% in lieu and 5% on site. 35 more is nice, but we still have a very long way to go. Our handout identifies 3 key questions to be asked with every housing project. If you look at the handout, number 1, is it consistent with the housing element? Number 2, has it done all it should to address the need for low and very low income housing? Number 3, is it consistent with the cap requirements for 50% of units to be built in a smart growth area? The answer to all 3 of these questions is no. But the critical question is, why isn't this development building their fair share of affordable housing? If you approve this project tonight without knowing where we are on achieving our RENA numbers and getting assurances on this development will do more to build its fair share of low-income housing units, then it will be shame on you. Housing and affordable housing, 2 more reasons for you to deny or table this project tonight. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Anne-Catherine Rock-Levac. I am going to talk about some of the economic sustainability issues posed by this project. A developer can always pay for an economic analysis to show how many millions in revenues they will generate. But what this analysis does not say is how this project will affect long-term economic sustainability. We are next to the bottom of 18 cities in terms of jobs housing ratio. And this project moves us backwards. The original project was 100% job producing, and now this new project provides fewer jobs and adds 700 housing units. And how certain are those jobs? We know commercial and office uses are struggling and have low growth projected through 2050 per general plan. Are we supposed to believe that those 11 commercial buildings are somehow an exception to that? We know how much cities love hotels because of the TOT revenue, but there is only so much capacity for hotel growth. As a matter of fact, 3 hotels along the Buena Vista Lagoon have been in process for 10 years. Hilton just pulled out of the site at the entrance to El Corazon. The city has been in negotiations for a resort hotel on El Corazon for over 6 years and still does not have any agreement. Building this hotel is likely to make those other projects to languish even longer. So this is not really an increase in Oceanside's bottom line. It is just changing who gets the price. And when will this hotel get built? The project includes no details about the phasing of construction. The quick buck for developers is from housing, which is why this project was changed to include 700 housing units. Apparently, staff had some concerns about whether the hotel would actually get built. Looking at some of the planning commission conditions. For instance, condition number 120 requires the foundation of the hotel to be built by the 525th unit. But what if they only built 524 units? That does not sound like a destination resort hotel leading this project. It sounds more like a great marketing strategy to hide hundreds of housing units behind the ghost of a hotel. Long-term economic sustainability and commitment/timing to actually build this hotel. Here are 2 more reasons for you tonight to use your discretion and deny or table this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
And what does our community get in exchange for all of the impacts that come with this project? With the North River Farms, this city council used your discretionary approval to get real community benefits. You pushed them and got design and funding for the cantilevered bridge. You pushed them and got money to improve Melba Bishop Park. You pushed them and got money to address greenhouse gases. Every time you push them, they sweeten the pot. And at the end of the day, they will still make millions of dollars. And that's on 395 housing units, not 700 like they're proposing here. What have we gotten for community benefits with this project? We don't see any. The Desert Surf Wave Pool in Palm Springs includes a commitment to net zero water use. They will fund turf removal in the adjacent golf course to offset 100% of their water. Instead of acknowledging the excessive water demand for a wave pool, this project denies it's an issue and proposes to do nothing about it. Pure water Oceanside is expected to cost over $2 billion. And we are all paying for that. No one should be allowed to waste water. The La Quinta wave pool offered a number of community benefits. These included a moratorium on any special events for 2 years to eliminate the traffic and the noise from bullhorns announcing event stop and start times. They agreed to pay 0.25% of sales to the adjacent neighborhoods for health and wellness programs, and to donate 1,000 hours of pool use to local students and nonprofits. Improvements like these would not just address impacts on the adjacent neighborhood, they would benefit the long-term sustainability of Oceanside. We ask you to say no to this project tonight. Make sure Oceanside doesn't just get one more huge housing project with a pretty picture of a hotel and a wave pool, and we all get stuck in the traffic with all the other impacts and with the bills to pay for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Stop it there. You have 8 minutes and 26 seconds left for rebuttal. So next we will be hearing from the applicant, Oceanside Partnership, LLC. How many speakers do we have on this?
So far, we're up to 34.
34.
Okay.
So let me just say one word. So there are 34 speakers so far. So I definitely will be asking you to keep your comments to 2 minutes each. All right, 2 minutes each. If you had a 3-minute speech prepared, please start taking it down to 2 minutes. Thank you very much for your consideration. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Sanchez and honorable council members. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate you taking the time to consider Ocean Camp this evening. My name is John Korn. I'm the CEO of Oceanside Partnership, which is the company that's developing this project. We're a local company. We're very proud to call North San Diego County our home. And we want to make this a local project that's as great as it can be for Oceanside. I'm here tonight to share with you our exciting plans for this. I know you know a lot about it already because we've been talking about this for a long time now. We're very pleased to have a unanimous decision from the Planning Commission. And we're also extremely pleased that we were able to reach a resolution with San Diego Seed. They withdrew their appeal today. And it was a very positive and excellent process that we went through with them because it resulted in two things. For one, with SDC itself, we reached important environmental concessions on the topics of construction air quality, biological resources, and water supply. And we did that as part of our settlement agreement with them through a private settlement, but we're going to be honoring that as we move through the project. It also resulted in us reaching an agreement with 3 additional unions. We had previously partnered with the Carpenters Union. They came here at the Planning Commission and spoke in favor of the project. And now I'm very proud to inform you, in addition to carpenters, we've also reached trade agreements with the plumbers, with the sprinklers and the sprinkler union, and also with the iron workers. Yeah. Yeah. And you're going to be hearing from some of their members and also from PCL Construction about the higher local program that they're all going to work on together to make this as Oceanside as it can be. So I'm going to show you a few slides here. Slide 1 here is just a rendering that gives you an idea of what the commercial zone of the project looks like. It's super exciting in my opinion anyways. It's a 92-acre mixed-use development. The hotel is going to be up to 300 rooms, but with different room type offerings. So there'll be something for everybody. 134,000 square feet of commercial space that can be restaurants, retail, and food and beverage. And then there's going to be up to 700 homes that'll be different home types that are centered around the community, which at the center of it, as you can see, is the super exciting wave pool. When I started on this project 4 years ago, I was actually kind of a wave pool doubter. I was a purist of wanting to be in the ocean, and I didn't think I could get comfortable with one. But then I went to a couple, and they're amazing. They're super fun, and they have an energy about them that's very thrilling, and it makes people happy to be around them, and will be a humongous draw. The one that people talk about a lot is there's a small wave pool in all places of Waco, Texas, and it's sold out they're open until like 7 a.m. till 10 p.m, and they're sold out for all the days that they're open, which is about, I think, 10 months of the year. And most of their customers come from California and Florida, because people go there to be able to surf, perfect conditions on a guaranteed basis, and it's a ton of fun. That pool is very small and kind of a first generation technology compared to what this one is going to be. That one's probably about 3/4 of an acre. Our pool here is about 3.5 acres, and will generate anything surf that's going to be anywhere from good for beginners to experts, and we can even hold high level competitions there that we can bring to Oceanside. And by having this here, Ocean Camp gives us, I think, an opportunity to support Oceanside's very, very rich surf history. And I believe too that it's going to attract more surf and action-oriented sports businesses to want to locate here, because where would you rather be in an industrial center in Costa Mesa? How does that do for your recruiting and retention of the key employees versus where you could be at a site like this, where you're around a wave pool, where it's an exciting place to be, and you can also even demo your equipment and offer your employees, who are all going to be surfers, the opportunity to go surf on their lunch breaks or after work versus just being in an industrial center in Costa Mesa. So I think this is going to be a destination for residents and for visitors to come and enjoy every day, and to be able to surf, perfect surf conditions, virtually all the time. This slide shows you the entire site. There's the commercial site in the middle, which is part of the current development plan. There's also 2 residential pads. There's the north pad and the east pad. Those are going to be the subject of a future discretionary action here at the city, because either us or our partners who we work with will need to come in and either seek a development plan or a subdivision map to be able to take those further. So this council will get another opportunity to look at those final plans. We are doing this on a conditional use permit basis that seeks 700 homes. So that's going to be the cap. It's going to be 700 homes, unless whoever comes in, whether it's me or someone else, comes in and asks for an amendment to that conditional use plan, to have it be different than what it is. But once again, that would be discretionary on the council's part. Right now, the cap is at 700 homes. One of the things you can't see great in this picture, but you'll see it in other ones, is that we are going to connect all these homes to mobility hubs. There's going to be 1.5 miles of trails for biking and walking. We're also going to put a pump track that's open to the public for recreation over there on the right side. We'll be able to see it better in a subsequent slide. This slide just zooms in on the commercial zone. And you can see that the site is centered around what's going to be the center of gravity of this development, which is the wave pool. And it's basically they always say you can't, they're not making any more of oceanfront property, but here we are. We're basically making an inland surfing area that's going to basically have beachfront property at this location. And all these businesses and the hotel are basically going to be there to enjoy the surf and enjoy the sound of waves. Just like as if you're at the ocean. In this drawing, you can see we also, on the east side of the surf lagoon, there's a conference center, and also there's going to be community use centers in the various buildings around the site. And in terms of the types of rooms that we have, there's the resort hotel with standard hotel rooms, but there's also casitas, villas, and I'll show it to you on another slide later. But there's also going to be an Airstream Campground, which I don't know if you've heard of the auto camp company that basically does, it's glamping. with Airstreams and a community house where it just makes for a camping experience. That's going to be another, room type that's there. So the Wave Lagoon, let's talk about that for a minute. See what kind of picture I have for you. Is really going to be, as I said, the center of gravity for this development. It's also going to be the economic engine for the development and for the whole city. It's going to be a destination that's going to be renowned around the world. Look at the teeny little wave park that's in Waco, Texas. That's attracting tourists from all over North America and even the world to go surf there. This is going to be triple to quadruple that. And we're going to see a lot of interest in this. And just going to be a super fun place to go. If you don't want to surf there, you'll be able to go to one of the restaurants to enjoy some food or a beverage while you watch other people surf or watch kids play on the beach that's there. There is the question of water use. And so I want to address that straight up front. The water use at this, it stirs a lot of emotion, and it merits discussion, as Ms. Nygaard has brought up. But let's talk about what that is, because the wave pool, it uses, as I discussed at the Planning Commission, somewhere between 4 and 5 million gallons of water a year. And that sounds like a lot, but let me put that in context for you, because I think when it's in context, it seems to me to be a very reasonable way to use water, especially in the context of the resources that we have here, that you have here at your disposal in Oceanside. The amount of water that's used at this wave pool is equivalent to the water that's used at one hole of an 18-hole golf course in a year. So if we had if there was such thing as a 17-hole golf course, the water needs of this wave pool would be satisfied from the water that would have been used on that 18th hole. Sorry to any golfers in the room. Another way to look at it is that the entire water use of this wave pool can be satisfied with less than 2 days of output from pure water Oceanside. Pure water Oceanside is going to be about 3 million gallons a day, and this is somewhere 4 to 5 per year. Another way to look at it that puts it in context is the entire annual water use of this wave pool is only 10% of the daily output from the Carlsbad desalination plant, which produces 50 million gallons of water a day. And we're going to use 4 to 5 million gallons in a year. So I say those because I think it helps understand what 5 million gallons really means in the context of this. And also, as Mr. Madera pointed out, the city analyzed this extensively. They hired an outside consultant to look at it, and it's been determined that on a long-term basis, Oceanside has sufficient water and access to sufficient water to supply the water needs of not just the wave pool, but this entire project for the long term, including looking at severe drought conditions. And that wasn't a study done by us. That was a study done by the city with an outside consultant. I guess I would just wrap up the water use part as this is that, we are committed to continuing to work with the city of Oceanside to source and conserve water in the most efficient way that we can. Now I'm going to run through these slides pretty quickly because I only have a little less than 9 minutes left. But there's going to be lots to do with Oceanside where you can play there. And that's going to be not just for tourists and visitors, but for residents. And you can go there to surf, you can go there to swim, bike along the trails, practice yoga, and paddleboard all in one place. And you can combine those activities as a daycation or a day trip or a week vacation, because you'll be able to do all those things and then also be able to go enjoy the retail outlets that we expect to have there. That should all be probably in the action sports oriented area of experiential retail, and then also food and beverage. Should be a lot of fun just to be there. Great place to spend the day. And we think that Oceanside is the perfect place for this, given that it's one of the richest surf and skate cultures in California, and certainly in Southern California. If you want to stay there, it's going to be a beautiful hotel. As I mentioned, that hotel is going to have standard hotel rooms, casitas, villas, and also Airstreams to stay in. And we're going to make it as beautiful as possible. We commissioned a study in 2019 by Hotel and Leisure Advisors, which is the leading hotel and hospitality feasibility analysis company. to take a look at this project as a whole, and this is 2019 dollars. The 10-year projection for TOT and sales tax revenue was over $81 million to the city. Here's a quick look at the Airstream Campground. We have it in the southwest corner of the wave pool. I think it looks pretty cool and it'd be a lot of fun to stay at. Locations like this exist in other dynamic places like Yosemite, Ojai, and Santa Barbara. People seem to love them when they go there. It's glamping and it fits in with the fun, active lifestyle that Ocean Camp's going to be. We're going to have 134,000 square feet of office space, retail space, F&B, and restaurant. And there's going to be, delicious offerings there. And that's another place where we're going to seek to have existing Oceanside businesses and business that want to grow in Oceanside come to this location to be around the excitement of the wave pool. Same thing goes for shopping. We think there's going to be an experiential retail center there. And I say that not just because I'm guessing. We've had amazing unsolicited requests from the retail community, from the brokerage community asking, hey, when's this going to be done? Because we want a site there. And that same thing also applies to some very exciting businesses in town that are needing to expand, and they want to expand in Oceanside and they want to expand around the wave pool. Same thing for working, as I just mentioned, and we're going to try to make this fun, great place to be. As you can tell from these renderings, this is how we plan to have it look. And we want it to be, there's a tie-in between the work and the jobs that are there and the residential. We're really hoping that we can add to the community by people who live there, either on the north residential pad or the east residential pad, also work at Ocean Camp and just be able to walk to work or hop on their bike and ride on the bike trails that we're building to get there too. I think we'll succeed on some of that. I mean, some people obviously are going to work other places, but that would be the fantastic outcome if everyone that worked there also lived right there and just walk or ride their bike to work. We're also only 3 miles from the transit center. Our bike trails are going to connect to the existing bike trail on San Luis Rey River bike trail system. So people can just hop on their bikes and go there and ride their bike or their e-bike to the transit center as well. Let's talk about the housing units for a minute. Up to 700 units. I don't know if there's going to be 700 because there's a lot of things that go into that. Obviously, we have to come here for another discretionary action. They have to all fit, et cetera. But this action today would authorize up to 700. And there's a 10% inclusionary housing requirement that we would do at 80 AMI. The original plan was to do 50% of our housing requirement on site and 50% in the form of the allowed in lieu fee that the city offers. I had a meeting with Ms. Nygaard last week. We got a very good initial meeting. And one of the issues she brought up was she wanted to see the affordable housing be all on site instead of by way of in lieu fee. And we're agreeing to do that as of now. Doing it as a measure of good faith. We're not getting anything back for that. Obviously, the appeal is still going on and we're here. But to show our good faith to Ms. Nygaard and to the city, we're changing our plan to have all those affordables on site. Thank you. Ocean Camp has a lot of direct benefits for the city of Oceanside. I've already mentioned a couple of them, but as this slide shows, more than $81 million in 10-year tax revenue. And the project's going to last a lot longer than 10 years. So that's going to continue to grow from there. By the way, that was a 2019 study, and good and bad, there's been horrible inflation since then. So I'm sure that number is significantly higher today than it was in 2019, which is good and bad. We're going to bring this wave lagoon, which is transformative and it's thrilling. And it's going to, not that Oceanside isn't already on the map, because it is. It's a much loved place, but it's going to become a major destination. If these wave pools can turn, Waco, Texas, no offense to Waco, Texas, into a destination like that, they do have a great university there, and also, a couple other things, I guess. Think what it can do for Oceanside, and it's just going to be a world-class destination. And we're going to do the affordable housing, which is a direct benefit. I think you have left on your RHNA requirement by 2029. On the low income side, you have to deliver another 655 homes. So we'll be 70 of those. It takes a chunk out of it. And hopefully other developments will come along that will that will build all that housing, and you'll meet the RHNA requirement by 2029 with projects like that. We also are doing things also for the public here, not just directly for the city. Our site is 92 acres. We're going to preserve 20 as open space. There's going to be the 1.5-mile trail system and the pump track. We're going to have the rotating cultural and surf exhibit with the Oceanside Surf History Museum, and also the San Luis Rey Band of Mission Indians, who we've worked with. And we've also been working closely with them and recently reached an agreement with the San Luis Rey Band of Mission Indians. They've been great to work with, and it's been a wonderful cooperative experience with them. We're also going to make some contributions to improve the Prince Memorial Skate Park to make it more approachable with some lighting and some landscaping that'll I think be a welcome addition for everyone that goes there. And then as Ms. Nygaard herself pointed out, we're going to be doing local road enhancements to improve Foussat Road. And we're doing all of this, I believe, in what I understood was a smart growth corridor. Our address, frankly, is not on 76, it's 3480 Mission Avenue. And I've thought all along that we're in a smart growth corridor, doing what we're supposed to do, and meeting or exceeding all of the city's requirements, even the ones that aren't directly applicable to us. Traffic is probably a good thing to mention. And I think it is highly relevant that we are reducing traffic from the already approved pavilion project, was big box retail. And by the way, our technical experts are here today for specific questions, but pavilion compared to Ocean Camp goes from 32,000 average daily trips to 19,000. And even more important, the afternoon peak goes from 2,872 to 1,834. So a huge decrease in the afternoon peak, which tends to cause the most problems. And as to the VMT analysis, vehicle miles traveled, all of those impacts are fully mitigated by our plan. And that's been vetted by your staff. Lastly, I'll end with super proud to be partnered with these unions that are on the screen here. Plumbers, the carpenters, sprinklers, and ironworkers. Super stoked to be doing this project with them.
You've used up all 20 minutes.
All right. These folks have supported this too on this slide. We have over 300 letters from members of the public supporting the project. Super proud of the support we've gotten, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. So this is a public hearing. This is a time to hear from the community, from the residents. You will have up to 2 minutes to speak. You do not have to have submitted a slip previously. We will be calling those who did submit a slip first, and then I'll be announcing that, if you wish to speak, please approach the podium, state your name, and then you would have up to 2 minutes to speak. So begin your list, Mr. Novato.
Thank you. We do have 2 podiums. So as I call your name, please go to the next available podium, and we'll get through everybody real quick. Scott Ashton, to be followed by John Bodorf, to be followed by Barbara Collins, to be followed by Louise Balma.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Scott Ashton, CEO.
Please, sorry, Scott.
Oh.
Please line up behind these folks. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. Scott Ashton, CEO of the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. I'm really pleased to be here to express the Chamber's support for this project. You all received my letter of support, so I'm just going to touch on 2 quick issues. The first is critical revenue inflow for the city. Oceanside was a beneficiary of approximately $507 million of visitor spending in 2021. And about 140,000 of that was spent on accommodations, with the remainder benefiting our restaurants, retailers, arts and entertainment venues, and other small local businesses. This generated $17 million for the city of Oceanside in tax revenue. Adding a one-of-a-kind attraction like Ocean Camp will further solidify Oceanside's growing stature as a Southern California destination, and will provide additional jobs and tax revenue that enhance the quality of life for all of Oceanside's residents. I also want to touch on housing. As you know, Oceanside's share of the regional housing needs assessment for the current cycle is approximately 5,400 housing units. As the RENA report shows, we need housing of all types to meet the needs of a wide variety of income levels for our current and future workforce. Ocean Camp will help make housing more accessible by developing multifamily units and allowing for a broader range of housing and a wide variety of market rates. The project goes a long way to meeting our city's housing needs with up to 700 housing units planned. And for these reasons, I urge council to uphold Planning Commission's approval. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry if it's a little fuzzy. I lifted that from the staff report. So the staff report was pretty thorough, but it missed something I thought was very, very important and has to do with the airport. And that is avgas. So this is a general aviation airport. So that means piston-powered aircraft, planes and helicopters. Unlike our cars, lead is still an aviation gas. So that's not from this airport. That's from a City of San Diego airport that we've been working with to get the lead out of their airports. As you can see, lead is contained in the aviation fuel avgas that is used by small piston engine aircraft that take off and land at this airport. People living, working, or traveling near this location will be exposed to lead as aircraft take off and land. So as you can see here, there's the airport and there's the site. Right next to the airport. This airport has been operating for over 50 years. And encircled in that yellow there is an elementary school. So again, lead, a lot of lead. So this is from the EPA's data. So Oceanside Municipal generates 66.5 pounds of lead every year. We've been working with the city and county of San Diego on their lead and their aviation and their general aviation. But Oceanside, that airport is 66.5 pounds of lead every year. There is no safe level of lead. World Health Organization, CDC, and the American Academy of Pediatrics, there is no safe level of lead. So if any of those who are not sure about that, lead damages the brain and nervous systems. It slows growth and development, learning and behavior problems, and hearing and speech problems. Children are especially vulnerable to lead. There is endangerment for EPA, but the main thing is if this council approves this project, you are knowingly exposing anyone who is there to lead. So the council needs to either decide either housing or that air.
Thank you very much. Ms. Collins?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you all to hold your applause to the end so that we can get through the 30-something number of speakers, which might end up being 40. So thank you very much for your patience. Ms. Collins?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Sanchez and council members. I'm here representing the Sierra Club, and we support the appeal by Preserve Calavera. Also, I want to start out by saying union jobs are great, and so is building affordable housing instead of paying in lieu fees. Totally support that, and that's a good moves for this project. Overall, though, the Sierra Club is very concerned about some environmental issues that we do not feel have been adequately addressed as they should be by state law. Some of the things that we are concerned about, and this is just a short list because we don't have a lot of time. A regional wildlife movement corridor extends right through the project site, and mitigation efforts as currently outlined are inadequate. Compliance with the sub-area plan has not been adequately documented. Project documents significantly underestimate the project's water demand. And as currently proposed, it does not delineate mitigation for excessive water use. Now, I heard a rebuttal tonight that the city's water shortage contingency plan can be implemented if they fall short. Well, that doesn't do anything except reinforce our concerns that the water use as calculated for the project is not realistic or adequately mitigated. Project traffic analysis fails to correctly analyze or mitigate for traffic impacts. The way that it was analyzed compared what is being proposed now with the pavilions. That's not how CEQA works. So just in close, the project as currently proposed should be tabled or rejected until an adequate EIR has been submitted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Louise Balma, to be followed by Leslie Gall, to be followed by Diane Hansen, to be followed by Jack Averillo.
Hello, Mayor Sanchez and council. Thank you for letting me speak. My name's Louise Balma. I have been a longtime resident of South Moore Hills for since 1994. I've served as a board member and still am on the California Surf Museum Board. And I also serve on the Planning Commission and Economic Development Commission for over 20 years. And before that, I was a business owner in skateboarding, surfing, and snowboarding. So I really get the action sports vibe. So when I saw Ocean Camp come before us in the very beginning with the Planning Commission, it was like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing project. Economically, it brings thousands of dollars to our city's general fund. It brings good paying jobs and union jobs to our city, which is another great thing. And the jobs are going to be cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to work at the Ocean Camp pool? It connects action sports with the project, which is mentioned by the developer. It's very true. All of the companies are going to want to have offices in these commercial spaces for their marketing and events and promotion teams, and have their athletes train in the pool. It's a kind of a natural connection. It's never been done before. Housing, I think the housing element is going to be enriched by the lifestyle that this whole project generates for a youthful kind of great place to live. And I'm glad the affordable housing is going to be there because that's a great place for a lot of the hospitality sector of the people to live in. So that's a great connection to have them live there. There's so many things I could go on and on, but basically, I hope that you guys uphold our Planning Commission decision. We vetted it just as you have, and we've gone through a lot of the staff reports and to see that it's there, it's good. And I think this would be a game changer for Oceanside. It would be a great thing for all of our citizens who live here, for people who visit. It's going to put us on another level. I mean, our downtown has done a great job for us. This is only going to make it better. So please uphold the Planning Commission's approval.
Thank you. If we could please hold your applause so that we can get through everybody's comments. Thank you. Ms. Gall?
Hi, good evening, Mayor Sanchez, Deputy Mayor Keim, and City Council members. My name is Leslie Gall, and I'm the CEO of Visit Oceanside. And on behalf of the Oceanside tourism and hospitality industry and my board of directors, I wanted to express our support for Ocean Camp. And also, I want to note that I do live in that neighborhood off of Foussat as well. The Ocean Camp project is an ideal use for this commercial location. We're losing land opportunities for revenue generating businesses and commercial businesses. And so this is ideal. It provides economic impact and jobs. It supports responsible and sustainable tourism, and it's an ideal fit for Oceanside's personality. It's important to continue to support the character of our community and leverage and lean into projects that are a natural part of our DNA. The action sport industry is inherent to Oceanside and is an important part of our cultural heritage. Currently, the project weaves this in through state-of-the-art experiences that include surf, water sports, biking, skateboarding, climbing, and more. In addition, there will be partnership opportunities for local brands to include culinary and experiential retail. There will be venue space to highlight and feature local artisans, craftsmen, as well as sporting and cultural events that celebrate our diverse communities. Our brand is what differentiates Oceanside from other communities, directly impacting economic development and quality of life for our residents. In addition, having new resources like this will help relieve impact on our beaches by offering another venue with revenue generating opportunities in the off-season. This is something that is in line with our destination stewardship goals. The economic impact to the city will be over $80 million in the first decade, generating more tax dollars than any other big box stores while having a smaller impact on traffic. This positive impact will generate significant revenues that help pay for vital services such as police and important infrastructure projects. This project will in turn create revenue generating opportunities for our small businesses. According to a recent study from Dean Runyon and Associates, 74% of visitors spending Oceanside goes to businesses other than lodging. Thank you for your time and consideration on this project.
Ms. Hansen?
Hi, I'm Diane Hansen. Hello, Mayor Sanchez and City Council. I moved to Oceanside from LA County in 1995. The beach was close, the climate was great, housing and traffic were reasonable. It was the life I wanted. Things have changed since then. The city council has put the concerns of the developers and tourists before its citizens. The housing developments are not affordable. The rents are rising by hundreds of dollars a month, which adds to the homeless problem. I realize you have a state quota regarding density, but stop crowding Mission Boulevard, Oceanside, and Vista Way. Yes, there's public transportation there, but I rarely see anybody in the buses or the trains during the day. Something has to be done to promote transportation. High-density apartments may soon look like the projects in Chicago. Better use of the open areas in the east. Put industry or high-tech companies there. They pay better wages, and in some cities, companies have built housing for their employees. The hotels have taken up most of the beach areas. You can't see the ocean until you're on the sand. Citizens have to hunt for a place to park, and when they find it, they have to pay for it. The new city plan is lovely, but it's not practical. Agenda 19 is for key resort, 300 key resort, and that's fine. But a wave lagoon, we're drinking recycled wastewater because we're in a drought. Put a halt to that water lagoon. We live in Oceanside. That means we have the ocean here. We don't need a phony wave with only 6 people can use at one time. I ask the citizens of Oceanside to be protected by this city council. You took an oath to protect and serve. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jack Averillo, and thank you, Mayor Sanchez, for your time and council members. I am here to speak in support of the development. I grew up in San Diego. I've been here my whole life. I've had the opportunity to really see it grow. After college, I came back down to San Diego, and I now work in retail leasing and advisory. I work in a team of 10 or 12 other guys here. We all do this locally. We've all grown up in San Diego. We've had the opportunity to get to know John a little bit better, talking about this project over the last handful of months. I know it's been in motion for a long time. But I think we're all really excited to see this come to fruition. It's an opportunity to really activate this part of our county, to add a more dynamic retail offering. We know that there's a lot of businesses that would love a chance to be at a development like this. So we'd just love to see it come to fruition and do so in a timely manner. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to announce that the Padres won today, 8-5. So. Sorry about that. Okay, Mr. Polar.
Right on. Okay. Hello, council members. My name is Scott Polar, and I'm the VP of Project Development and board member for Urban Surf for Kids, and I strongly support this project. Oceanside is a unique opportunity here to host a truly unparalleled global destination. In terms of participation, surfing is the fastest growing sport in the world, and wave projects like this are the most compelling and fastest growing entertainment concepts globally. So like it or not, the wave parks are coming. Developed surf projects have proven to realize positive economic and cultural impacts to unforeseen levels. So with that said, wave pool developers and investors are aggressively pursuing sites in San Diego right now. Unfortunately, most trade areas can only accommodate 1 to 2 of these types of projects. So being first to market is absolutely critical, and Ocean Camp is light years ahead of other similarly planned projects in San Diego County. This will be a place for locals, for visitors, kids, families, competitions, events, training, health and wellness, and so much more. Basically, this will be envied by all projects in San Diego County, and this window of opportunity is not going to last long. So hopefully Oceanside can take advantage of Ocean Camp's first mover position, momentum, and make this dream destination a reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Corey Whitlock, to be followed by Robert Velasquez, to be followed by Stephanie Peraza.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Sanchez and city council members. My name is Corey Whitlock. I am a resident of Oceanside, a homeowner of San Luis Rey, and a business owner on Mission Avenue. I have 3 businesses here located in Oceanside that all revolve around surfing. My father started making surfboards in 1963, and this is something that is very passionate to us. As a business that operates on the beach in Oceanside and the residents and with the retail down in downtown, we support this project going forward. As a surf instructor that teaches thousands of people how to surf every year, we'll be able to employ 20 to 30 instructors per year, year round versus 6 weeks out of the summer. We look forward to the development coming in. We see it as a positive impact to bring tourists to our neighborhood. Even though that Oceanside is a big surf community, it is a very sleepy town. And as a business owner, we need that influx of people year round. I brought some of my staff here today. I brought some of my students here that have participated in my surf club, and they'll be speaking too. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to you guys approving this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You are Sienna.
Yeah.
You can start, Sienna.
Hello, Mayor Sanchez and council members. My name is Sienna Sullivan. I'm 11 years old in 6th grade, and I go to Coastal Academy. Ocean Camp would be a great addition to Oceanside because it creates a fun environment. It's a great addition for residents and tourists. The wave pool lets surfers surf a man-made wave that is predictable. This leads to pros from Oceanside. I understand that people have concerns about the environmental impact, traffic, accidents, and it being too close to the airport. These concerns are and will be addressed. At some point, there will be a change to the area, so we want to make it a fun, family-friendly place. I hope you support this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Sienna.
Good evening, Mayor and councilors. My name is Randy Lochtfeld. I'm with SurfLock. We're the technology developer for the Ocean Camp project. And I wanted to just mention that my colleagues and I spent the last 2 days at the Surf Park Summit, which is an annual symposium of surf park developers, surf industry experts, and developers. And this was held in La Jolla just over the last 2 days. And it was really exciting. There was a lot of developments going on in the surf park world. And I think what is safe to say, though, is that in throughout the world, there's surf park developments happening. And it's starting to pick up steam in the US a little bit more. But outside of the Coachella Valley in California, there's no other surf park projects that are seriously happening other than Ocean Camp here in Oceanside. And it's for all the aforementioned benefits of this project. This project, if approved and passed and built, will be one of the very few projects in coastal Southern California, and it'll be an absolute destination, undoubtedly, not only for tourists coming to the city of Oceanside, but for residents that'll be able to enjoy the project here. So I urge you to pass it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and adjacent members, for the opportunity to express my strong support for this one-of-a-kind project. This project provides an immense opportunity for community enhancement and uplift through recreational experiential opportunities. I've experienced this firsthand on other wave pool projects in California and beyond. This project is a positive demonstration of responsible and sustainable-minded development approach through partnering with technology providers who are on the cutting edge of sustainable design, including integration of advanced reclaimed, reused water treatment systems designed to reduce water utilization. This project serves as a beacon of healthy activity, recreation, and innovation. This project provides access to surfing to all in a controlled environment, creating immense opportunity for community members who participate in the life-changing benefits of surfing, recreational activity, and the creation of shared uplifting experiences and memories with family, friends, and community. I strongly support this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Sean Ellis. I'm a political organizer for the United Association Local Union 230. That's the plumbers and pipe fitters here in San Diego. Look, let's just speak the facts. You guys have an inherent responsibility to develop this city. Your average citizen here makes $32,000 a year median income. You have a responsibility to create middle-class jobs, make this city the next jewel of North County. This project is going to provide not only middle-class jobs, sustainable jobs where my brothers, the carpenters, are going to make well over enough money to own a house here in Oceanside. My brothers and sisters here in the UA will be able to own a house here in Oceanside. Don't listen to other groups about environmental justice. This project has been put through the ringer. I know we did it with them. We looked at it. We are the plumbers that are going to build the on-site water reuse. We are the highly skilled and highly trained members of the United Association that will pipe this, that will make sure that this system not only takes care of the water usage and creates a business model to bring so much capital to this city that needs it. Let's be clear, I live here. I'm a Pacific Islander and I see how my people live here. So this job will not only hire responsible local contractors that are going to hire local folks with the zip codes, it's going to bring money back here. And let's be honest, when does developers union and the community get together to build a project that will set the precedence in this community? Let's just make that real clear. You finally have business, you finally have labor, and you have community members standing tall to fight inflation, to fix this economy, to create a middle class. And we are ready to build America. We are ready to build North County. Please don't stand in our way. We're ready to do this. Thank you for your time. You guys have a beautiful evening.
Thank you.
David Shepard. David Shepard, to be followed by Annie Altamirano, to be followed by Lucas Mallory, to be followed by Godfrey Wahira.
Good evening, Mayor.
If I could just ask one more time, you know, doing this, we can see who you support. I think we have a sense of who's supporting who, right? But that would be helpful to like running through, because we're more than halfway through. Good news. But we still have others who want to be heard. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is David Shepard. I'm a resident of Oceanside, and I'm here in support of the application before you. You know, I'm really excited about the opportunity to create a place for Oceanside that will have energy and activity that will last for years. The thing I'm also excited about is, frankly, the opportunity for more housing. I've got 3 teenage kids right now, and I have no idea where they're going to be living when the time comes when they move out, become boomerang kids, and then go back out again. So for those reasons, I'm going to keep it brief and just hope that you support everything that's before you today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Lucas Mallory, Area Manager for PCL Construction, the general contractor on the project. So in addition to me being just thrilled to be part of constructing this type of project, it's not lost on us, and it can't be understated, the need and importance for this project to be built by the city of Oceanside and by the people around the city of Oceanside. So we really, you know, we hear from families, we hear about the driving, we hear about people that want to see the fruits of their labor. I drive by projects that I built and I show my kids and I get to point and have that moment of connection. And we want that for the people here as well. So really in partnership with the developers, in partnership with our union brothers and sisters, we really are committing to a higher local program. We are going to be figuring out how to prioritize individuals that live in and around Oceanside to be part of this project, so that we can really and truly make this an economic engine that just grows the full area, both in terms of the economic output and the retail, but also the people and the pride and workmanship that we'll get out of this project. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Godfrey Washira, and I'm with and I'm with SDC, and it feels so good to refer to ourselves as ex-appellants on this. Hopefully, I'm not making up words, but yes, John and his team did reach out to us, and they are very, very reasonable people, very reasonable, and we are happy to have entered a legally enforceable settlement in which they have agreed to implement measures that address all our concerns and issues raised. And yes, the agreement is really deep. It is a really clean project. As he talked about, construction emissions taken care of, biological resources taken care of, water conservation, one of the big issues, taken care of. I mean, this is going over and above what's on the SEIR. So I think this is a really, I mean, it's a clean project. Let me just leave it at that. And that's why we dropped our appeal. That's why we are here in support of the project. And I think that is one of the many, many reasons to approve the project. It truly does go over and beyond legal requirements. And it's good to have developers who actually value the environment. And with that, I stand with John and his team and with all the supporters in asking you, please approve this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Yeah, Jose Pena. Good evening, council members. My name is Jose Pena. I'm also speaking on behalf of City San Diego. We believe now more than ever that the major projects must give back to the community, and they must also build with the highest environmental standards in mind. I want to know that the developer has gone above and beyond their legal mandate in terms of their outreach to us. They spent time working with us, which we greatly appreciate. We are here to enthusiastically support the Ocean Camp project. Thank you, and we ask you to approve it.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Doug Hicks, to be followed by Dan Monahan, to be followed by Jim Kepton, to be followed by Jason.
Good evening, Mayor Sanchez, council members. Let's talk about what this project really was. This was a parking lot. I saw my last drive-in movie there in 1998. It was Waterboy. This is an amazing investment in the community.
But it was a great theater, though.
It was. I love it. I still love a good drive-in. We got a few left, but I'd like to commend the developer. They came in and they understand what a partnership looks like. There's a lot of developers that come into Oceanside, they pillage, they leave. They don't invest in the community that they're going to profit from. It's not a bad thing that developers make a profit. It helps the community. It makes people want to invest here. It's a good place to build. Oceanside's got land stock. They're turning an old defunct drive-in movie theater into an economic powerhouse. It's going to put local carpenters to work. This is important enough for our brothers and sisters from the plumbers and pipe fitters to show up, union carpenters, families bringing out infants to show you how important this is. There's going to be people that say, I don't want this to change. Somebody said the same damn thing when they built their house in 1966 in an orange field. Progress is important to a city. Local jobs matter. This is going to bring jobs, wages, benefits, economic development, TOT tax. This is everything that Oceanside's been talking about. Sending a message to developers that when you come to Oceanside, you hire local, you hire skilled union labor, you reinvest in the community, you stand shoulder to shoulder with the residents, you stand shoulder to shoulder with the next generation, providing apprenticeship opportunities for the residents from Oceanside. What's the most important question you ask somebody in Oceanside? Where'd you go to high school? And if you don't answer it right, you're not a local. Point blank and period. That matters. If you haven't had breakfast at Cafe 101, people don't want to hear from you. This is a developer that understands what it takes to be part of this unique community. They've embraced the surf culture and they've embraced the hard-working culture of the people of Oceanside. I ask you to move this project forward and send a strong message. Oceanside is the place to build and to build it local. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you guys? My name's Dan Monahan. Excuse me. And I work in the action sports industry. You've heard a lot of talk about my industry. I work for the Dew Tour, which is Pepsi and Mountain Dew's annual action sports competition and 3-day festival. And, in our world, there's a lot of support for this types of project and a lot of the sustainability conversations that have been happening. I mean, I think something that needs to be kept in mind with this project is that, as soon as they open doors, Ocean Camp's going to be able to have a lot of high-level conversations with big-time corporations, leaders in sustainability and the environmental sector, and create partnerships that tell really cool stories, how they're implementing their solutions and their technology into the day in, day out operations of Ocean Camp, helping just with the overall environmental story of what Ocean Camp is doing to improve its footprint. On the other side of thing, on the competition side of it, we need to think about this as basically adding a sports arena, sports venue to Oceanside. When you're talking about world-class waves at the push of a button in the middle of Southern California with hotels, restaurants, infrastructure for fans, athletes, it's a game changer. And I know folks, the WSLs of the world, USA Surfing, a big prize down the road. The Summer Olympics are coming to Los Angeles. There's no reason that Oceanside can't host the qualification trials or heck, even actual Olympic events being held here in the city of Oceanside with the entire world watching. Doesn't get much better than that. So pretty cool project. And I know that, my industry is excited and hopefully we can make it happen.
Thank you. Mr. Kempton?
Good evening. I'm Jim Kempton. I'm the president of the California Surf Museum.
On behalf of the California Surf Museum, I'd like to say that we support this project. We're very proud to be the second largest attraction for tourists in Oceanside, and we would be delighted if this group were to beat us out on that, because we feel that every one of us helps each other, and this group has been very, very cooperative and supportive of the California Surf Museum. We even plan to have our next gala when they are completed here at the Wave Park, which just sort of, I think, indicates the kind of attraction that this kind of a project will endure. So we strongly support the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, and city staff. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. For the record, my name is Jason Santos. I came up here to share two items dovetailing nicely what I think from the previous speaker, Dave Shepard, had shared regarding housing and his kids. I'm a third generation, so first note, I'm a third generation North County resident who has family and friends that grew up in the area, have built relationships, and who can no longer live in the same community that they grew up in. It's great to see that this unit count is 700, and the possibility of having housing for our future generations is big time in my eyes. And the second note is a quote that I recently heard that I think resonates well with land development and housing, and that is, at the heart of housing and land development discussion lies a major cultural challenge. Our democracy is sometimes at odds with our long-term interests. Planning and investment decisions made by democratic local governments far too often prioritize the present preferences of current residents who seek to protect what they have over the needs and interests of citizens who have not yet arrived or have not yet been born. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayor, Council, staff. Thanks for your time tonight to listen to me. My name is Tyler Martin, and I am stuck in an endless cycle of renting. And I have a dream of owning a home, and it's really hard. Price is out of control. It's absolutely out of control.
Yeah.
And the reason it's out of control is not a mystery. People are desperate. People are desperate for housing opportunities. At 33 years old, I would cash in my 401k for the opportunity at one of these homes. And then I start all over with retirement. It's that serious, and people are getting hurt. And we, in particularly young people and young families, because they're the ones trying to enter the housing market. It's a part of our retirement plan. It's important to us. And when this community is built, I would like you all to drive through and see the families that move into these homes and know that you made the decision to approve their American dream, because that's what this is. 700 American dreams, 700 opportunities. Thank you.
Excuse me, can I ask you, where do you live?
Yes, I live in Ocean Beach, and
Okay.
I recently, I work in North County.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Crystal Hillsley. I'm the founder of a company called Crystal Clear Nutrition Group, and I implement sustainable agriculture and facilitate sustainability principles with projects in the hospitality industry. I've already spoken at events with South Morrow Hills and Oceanside, and I'm a huge supporter. I'm here to share my support and advocacy for the progression and realization of this project. I will be analyzing and exploring the potential sustainable practices, which are based on models that have been tested and consolidated. I just need to identify the desired composition for the area. I'm going to be exploring such thing as on-site food production. Not only is this a part of the climate action plan, but it's also number 12 of the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. It reduces greenhouse gases and it creates less traffic. Green roofs, they create water conservation. They prevent stormwater runoff as well. They reduce energy that's needed for heating and cooling. They increase pollinators and birds. There's also a credit program here in San Diego, which I'm sure you're all well aware of. I'm going to be exploring partnerships to accomplish other sustainability goals, such as the Farm Lab. There's an area for that on this project. very similar to what Encinitas Unified School District has done, which has created a school program for kids. It's fed their cafeterias at local schools. There's after-school programs and furthermore, kids' education. We have a chance to create the nationwide model for wellness and sustainable tourism right here in Oceanside. Sustainability is a pillar of the surf culture. From a patriotic standpoint, I've been involved with the Waco project personally, and I've also been involved with a lot of the athletes that have trained there, namely Carissa Moore. She got gold after training there. She also trained at another surf pool. We're bringing this opportunity right here to California. Others that are headed to sorry, it's slipping my mind now, to France in 2024 or 2026. And we really have an opportunity to bring that here to Oceanside. So I'm a huge supporter. Thank you for
Thank you.
Mayor, council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you today. My name is Jim Hill. I live locally. I live in the airport neighborhood. I am totally excited about this opportunity that should have happened, I guess, 2 years ago now. My kids are still waiting. They would like to work there. They would like to surf there. It's a fantastic opportunity for development. Speaking about Waco, I'm going to Waco next month. I'm going to try it out. I've had some friends that have done this for probably a couple years now since it has opened. It's an exciting opportunity. Waco has boomed. We can do the same for here. Our economic development here and our development process here has been fantastic. The naysayers about, hey, let's not do this because, there's a squirrel running through the area. Well, over here where we had the theaters where we're going to be doing this development, that was already a movie theater. It was a swap meet. It was these other things. It's, an encampment for the homeless right now. We've got to address that issue, get those out. It's not affordability of housing per se. Oceanside is affordable as far as housing goes within the whole community of San Diego, including the coastal area. So it's just, depending on where you want to live, go to where you can live and afford to live and then move up. Everybody has to do it. It's a process. Once again, please pass this. I think it should have been passed a while ago until these other two groups came through, maybe strong arm the developer. So anyway, totally in favor for it. On to you.
Thank you.
Is Jim Kempton here? Oh. All right. Well, then we'll move on to Drew.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And good evening. I'd like to start off telling you that I live in District 1. I live in the Waynes View Estates right behind the airport. I would be most directly impacted by this development. And I'm excited about it. To be honest, listening to everybody here and having the opportunity to come here last and just hearing the support for this project and the benefits it's going to bring to our community, really exciting. This is something that could really put Oceanside on the map, much like Legoland did for Carlsbad. So we're very excited about having something like this in our own community. On a second point I'd like to make is that I really would like to recommend to this council that you begin to adopt a more stringent appeal process. The fact that 3 people can come up here with 25 signatures and drag every single one of us up to this council to have to bring a development like this to the city is pretty disheartening. I'd like to post this picture. Bring that up really quickly. This is the, and she's currently sewing. So I don't know what does this really mean to her? Does this really affect her?
I want to speak. No, you are out of order. This is not a character situation here. Just address the issue.
I'm addressing it. So the fact of this is the fact that you have somebody who maliciously attacks developments. It makes it harder for people to live in this city. This is a good project and it's a much needed housing project. I would really like to see the council tonight move adoption of this and begin looking at a more stringent process for the appeal. To develop speed bumps in a community that we have, it takes us to produce 75% of community support, whereas a development can be blocked by 25 people to come to this process so that one person can get a payout from the developer. I think this process needs to change and we need to do better for our citizens here in Oceanside. Thank you.
You are out of order. We do not entertain comments that are attacking the character of others. Please, in the future. Good.
Nothing but the truth.
Let's take a break.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting back to order. We have gone through all the slips. Did we have anyone else that, I see somebody standing. Okay.
No,
So
we're
we do-
through the registered speakers.
Yes. So you did not have to submit a slip. If you wish to also speak, please approach the podium. You have up to 2 minutes to speak. And we have the first speaker.
Thank you. Rob Howard, Oceanside resident. I live in the Rancho Dolo area. I'll try to make this fast. Number one, I appreciate the fact that what I've seen tonight is a group of people that don't normally work together. And I have an ask. I'm wearing my Oceanside hat because I want to remind people that I just believe Oceanside should do things a different way. I think we can do things together. I think we can do things cordial. I can respect when someone has a different opinion and we can have that conversation. And that's what I want to see out of Oceanside. While it may take a day extra to get the job done, I would rather take time to get the job done because this project, because of the questions that people brought to them, made some improvements that are going to be better for our community. So I'm good with us having conversations. My ask is this. We're talking about revenue. We're trying to bring that together. But what I don't want us to forget about is the fact that we have conversations now about crime. We have conversations about what's not going on. I'd like to ask us all to remember to invest in our communities. Let's take some of that revenue. Let's fully staff the community centers because it's more than just the young people. We have people who come there who need help with different things about how to maneuver through the city and might not be able to make it to downtown. So thank you all for seeing what we can do with the project. But more than anything else, I want to make sure we're being respectful of folks because they have a different opinion. I want to thank the developers for bringing us all together. And let's not forget, we need to focus on our renewables, microgrids, focusing on our community, young people getting hired. We got a whole checklist. Let's not forget the checklist. And for our labor union folks, let's call down to the city and make sure that they have your work and your skill at the career tech ed at the high school so that we can continue to generate the people to do that work. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Hill?
Mayor, Council, Joe Hill, Oceanside resident, 22 years. Couple of questions and a couple of statements. First of all, we get no water from the Carlsbad desal plant. I'm sure if the council doesn't know that, they should already. Also, golf courses are mainly using reclaimed water now. They're not using regular water, so that I don't understand that comment from the applicant. I guess my questions are more performance questions. How long is it going to take to complete the entire project, and what's going to come first? The houses, pool, the retail? What is that? Is that all laid out in writing somewhere? What other projects has this development company done before this one? Oceanside Partners is not the company doing this work. It's N4FL Development, which was incorporated back in 2014. So they've had many LLCs from, there's too many of the name. The other question I have is, this is the same company, same owner that did the Grandview project. Does anyone remember that Grandview project? 2018, it was passed. They were supposed to build 26 homes in Fire Mountain. Guess what? 4 years later, they just started today. Is that what's going to happen with this big project if they've never done anything this size before? Also, how is the project being paid for? Is it going to be paid for by investors? Is it going to be paid for by Flora LLC in Greenfield, California? How much does the development cost? These are just all questions to be considered. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Modello, and thank you for giving me the time to speak. I actually was going to speak to a different project, but I as it pertains to the exact same neighborhood where I live, which is the Oceanside airport neighborhood, well, this will affect. I'll just keep my comments to this. I sent everyone an email on the council and to you, Mayor Sanchez, this morning about my concerns for the other projects. So rather than take your time here, I have the letter and I can send that to you. At the end of the day, we all know it would be great to have park space and no development. Everybody wants to live how it was 50 years ago. Not realistic. They're going to develop something. As a person who is a homeowner in that neighborhood with an 8 and 10-year-old and a husband who surfs, my 2 daughters surf. They skate at Prince Park, also Alex Road Park. If there's going to be a development, hey, Wave Park, great. My husband's gone to Waco. He surfs every single day. He's not flying. We're both pilots. So great that they're using union workers. You couldn't find anybody else who supports you more. But my only concern that I would say with the project is the same concern that I have with the other project, and that is traffic congestion. And so I would ask if you're going to, modify this or look at the impact. It seems there's already 1,000 homes in the development. If you very, very minimally assume there's 2 people per house, which is very conservative, you're looking at 2,000 people already there with 1,000 cars, let's say. And with 700 homes, even if there's only 2 per home, that's another 1,400 people. Our neighborhood is bordered by Benet Road on the west side and Foussat on the east side. And so I would just ask that you really, really do look at the impact. We did have a fire this summer. Egress was an issue. Our cul-de-sac was evacuated. So I would just say, if there's any way to look at that part of it, and you can probably still make plenty of money and we would welcome it, I would appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Walshaw.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Linda Walshaw. I'm the CEO of Mobile Home Advisory Committee. We're a countywide nonprofit. We've been working with servingseniors.org and SANDAG and UCSD students on research regarding housing for seniors in San Diego County that's almost completed. And one of the data that we were provided with from SANDAG is that we're expecting a huge population increase in North County, especially in Oceanside and the coastal areas within the next 5 years, 96% of which will be seniors over the age of 55. There's no housing plan for that. So what I have questions, especially because I was on the Housing Commission. I'd like to know what would be considered an affordable unit for this project. If, as I understand it, if say the units are going to cost $750,000 a piece or however much they're going to cost, then how much would an affordable unit be? Would it be $500,000? Because that's still not going to be affordable to the senior population. And our largest percentage of newly homeless right now are seniors and veterans. So we need to do something as a preventative measure to prevent more people from becoming homeless as we develop these projects. And I'd like to know if it's not means tested, then we can't count it with the state as affordable housing, as I understand. So I just have questions as to how this affordable housing component would work. And if the in-lieu fees are paid, would they be dedicated to build more affordable housing, or would they just go into the general fund? So I just need some other answers in order to support this. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am Jeffrey Moore. I live in the airport community, and I'd like to say that the applicant has made a wonderful presentation, beautiful surf park, lots of money coming into the city, but nobody's mentioned the impact to the airport community. We can hear the 76 from our house. The noise of the surfing, especially the plans for Olympics and competition and everything else, is going to be tremendous. I don't know what can be done about that, but I do know what can be done about the traffic jams. We already have traffic jams on the 76 in the morning and in the afternoon. And I'll bet you a lot of the people here have never been in those traffic jams. So what's it going to be like for us to get out, to go to work, to go to school, to go to the store and back with 19,000 new cars going along there, plus the Olympics and all of the competitions. My recommendation to this council is that even though the 76 is a state route, that development that's necessary to handle the infrastructure can take place. As a matter of fact, I would think it would be up to the applicant to work with the state and with Caltrans to get that development done so that our traffic problem does not get huge. It will get even worse when the development on the roads happen, but it'll be worse than that if it happens after the project is built. So my recommendation is get the infrastructure done before the project is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other requests to speak on this item? Okay.
Good evening, Council.
Ms. Kramer.
Carolyn Kramer, Oceanside resident. I do not support this project, and I do support the appeal of Preserve Calavera. This whole project was approved by the Planning Commission 14 years ago. This is an old SER that this was approved on, and I can't even imagine 14 years has gone by and we have not had any more impacts from 14 years ago. Who lives here? Anyway, it's an antiquated SER that this project was approved on. The proposed project has a whole lot more impacts to our community: traffic, noise, fire, airport crashes, deaths, and the big one, water. I sent you an email today addressing the wave pool technology being proposed for this wave lagoon. The wave pool technology should not address anywhere in writing that I have found. Please do your due diligence on this. At the Planning Commission meeting was the only time verbally was a technology suggested surf block. In all of my research, I cannot find where the surf block technology is actively working anywhere in the world. The 19 pools that are up and running and functioning in the world that I sent you today do not include surf block. Are we going to be another guinea pig like the other 3 projects with surf block that have been on hold since 2019 with no updates? There are multiple wave pool projects being proposed locally, 2 or 3 in Palm Springs, Paul Desert area, with one of them being rejected unanimously by the residents and their council based on the water use. There is another wave pool being proposed in the Baja area, the Kelly Slater Wave Company technology. I do not support a wave lagoon or this project because of the impacts to our community. But if for some reason you feel compelled to approve this project, please make this developer build the wave pool and all the community amenities before one house foundation is allowed.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike Richardson. My parents' families settled in Oceanside in early 1920s. That's 100 years ago. My mom graduated from Oceanside High School in 1938. I was born just up the street in 1941. I graduated from Oceanside High School in 1959. My uncle was the first elected mayor of Oceanside in the early 60s. I had a cousin on the council in the 70s. My dad and his brothers built many of the buildings in Oceanside. So I think I have an idea of what's good for Oceanside. And I think this is a phenomenal project and that I urge you to approve of it.
Thank you. Any other? Okay. Any other requests to speak on this item? Sandy?
My name is Sandy Size, and I live there in the airport area. I've lived there for 20 and a half years when they started building the homes there. I oppose this project because of the traffic. It is hard in the mornings to take my grandchildren to school. And also, we're having problems with the drought, and our water bills keep increasing and increasing. And why build a wave park there when we have the ocean where they can do whatever 2 miles away from our homes? We don't want I'm 75 years old. I don't want all that noise behind my house. I want to continue to live in a peaceful, beautiful area. I love Oceanside. This is my home. And I lived in Orange County, and it became too hectic for me and my family. And we moved out here, and we're drinking water that's from the toilet to the faucet or whatever. And what about water that's going to go into that wave park? Please think about us that live there. And if there's fires or anything, where are we going to go? Last time we only had one exit that we could go through, and it's very difficult for us. Please, please. I know that the development companies are huge and they have a lot of money, but we pay the taxes here. We lived here. We love Oceanside. And I'm not speaking only for myself, but for all the residents there that live in my area. We don't have any organization groups or anything, but we vote. And I'm asking to please, please think about us and our children.
Thank you.
Grandchildren. Thank you.
Any other requests to speak? I see nobody else rising, so I'm going to go ahead and close this part of the public hearing and go back to staff. I believe there were some questions that were raised by, I believe it was Joe Hill. Yeah, I guess rebuttal first. Ms. Nygaard, you have 8:26. 8:26, 8 minutes, 26 seconds.
Good evening again. I think it's wonderful that our friends of labor have reached project labor agreements. That should happen with every project, shouldn't it? But from the beginning, not at the 11th hour like this. One really wonders, why is it at the 11th hour? It should have happened at the beginning. I'm surprised that Mr. Korn chose to talk about the content of what specifically was identified as a confidential meeting with me and actually misrepresents some of what was said. That says a lot to me about his credibility. I think it should say a lot to you as well. Wonderful Seed reached an agreement on some of their concerns, but of course it's a complete mystery about what environmental impacts, if any, were addressed in that, because we certainly haven't seen anything about it. But let me just highlight a couple of things that we want you to remember as you decide what to do with this project. We believe this is the largest single project proposed in Oceanside in the last 25 years by a developer who has never built a project anywhere near this size, by a developer who mass graded this site in the regional wildlife movement corridor next to a river and didn't document their mitigation in the SEIR. A project based on a hyped wave pool that accommodates a maximum of 12 surfers at a time, and that based on the experience of other similar projects will cost over $100 an hour to use, will give preference to hotel guests, leaving little room for locals, and that is a few miles from a much bigger, much better free wave pool, the Pacific Ocean. A project with massive unmitigated impact on our community. Please, please do not sell Oceanside short. Fix this project or flush it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that was yes. So if you need to do more clapping, because I apologize. I told you could clap at the end, and my apologies. I forgot to let you know that. Remind you of that. So we now have back to staff to answer the questions. I believe it was Mr. Hill who had some questions at the end, and I believe was it Ms. Walshaw that asked some questions about the affordability? Was it her?
Mayor and Council, with regard to the affordability, I think Ms. Walshaw asked what the in lieu fees would be. As noted at the beginning of the during Mr. Madera's presentation, this developer has voluntarily agreed to construct the inclusionary units on site. And so the way that will be implemented is that there are
future residential development plans that will come before the planning commission and potentially before the city council if they're appealed. And so there is a required condition of approval that there has to be an affordable housing agreement approved in which all of the details of how, when, and where those units will be built will be addressed and will be subject to the city council's discretionary approval.
Right, and
So
at
there
this
will
time-
be no in lieu fees.
And they agreed to build on site.
That's right. And there is a condition in the page 17 of the mixed use development plan has been amended to reflect that and to replace the language that's in there. Now, they had previously agreed to build 50%. So the current version of the mixed use development plan has a 100% on-site requirement subject to the affordable housing agreement consistent with our inclusionary housing ordinance. I think
Yeah.
you also asked what those levels of affordability will be, and those are
It's
all
low.
set forth in our statute. And so we would be implementing that with the affordable housing agreement.
Right. So I think the questions that Mr. Hill had were how long it's going to take to complete, how phased, which companies will be involved if they have that. I believe that's going to be decided later, but I think Mr. Madera, if you want to answer some of those questions, if you know.
Maybe I can start with one of them, Mayor.
Okay.
And that is the issue of phasing, because it was brought up in an earlier comment too, that I think the implication was that, or the allegation was that the city was going to allow 525 units without any commercial development. And that is not what the condition says. Condition 119 says that no building permit shall be issued for the 351st residential unit until a whole series of conditions have been met. And I'm not going to read all of them, but they were very carefully discussed and negotiated with the applicant. But among other things, the developer can't go past 351 units unless a precise grading permit for the resort hotel site in the mixed use development plan and CUP has been issued. Substantial work, which we've very detailed defined in subsection D, has occurred with regard to that resort development. The construction loan and applicable equity investment and any mezzanine financing have closed. So the approvals would have to be granted. The funding for the project would have to be demonstrated and closed before they can go past 351. And then on top of that, there has to be a completion guarantee in place, much like we did with the beach resort project. The completion guarantee is in place, guaranteeing the lien-free construction of the approved hotel to the satisfaction of the city attorney. And then we've defined what that substantial work means within the body of that condition. They also have to record deed restrictions to ensure that all of those commercial parcels have enforceable restrictions, allowing only the approved uses in place. So they couldn't be converted to non-commercial uses down the road.
Thank you, Mr. Madera. Do you have any other comments to make at this time before we take it to the council?
Mayor Sanchez, I have no other comments to add.
Okay. To the council. Councilmember Weiss. Deputy Mayor Keim. I'm asking you if you'd like to make comments. There are no lights right now. So you'd like to make comments? Is that a yes? Oh, no. Okay, Councilmember Jensen. Shy at the dais.
I guess by default, I'll ask a question. On the local hire, is there a percentage attached to that or any restrictions on the local hire?
Councilmember Jensen, that's an agreement between the developer and the union that would probably best answered by the applicant.
John Corn for the developer. Thank you, Councilperson Benson. Okay, the answer is no, there isn't any percentage or it's not precisely defined. However, I think the way that's going to work is that all four unions will work in concert with the general contractor. You heard from Lucas Mallory from PCL today, and they'll basically set up a program that will prioritize local hire that will, emphasize Oceanside first. And then if we need to go outside of Oceanside, it'll go as short a distance outside of Oceanside as possible in that way. And so I can't give a number for it. I don't think that's known yet. by any of the parties, but we're just going to prioritize local hire, and the details of that will come forward as we get closer to construction documents and setting up construction. Yeah.
Thank you. Councilmember Weiss?
Yeah, I just want to address a traffic concern that has come up. And I understand that with the traffic studies that any impacts are being mitigated to below a significant level. However, at one point in time, the city had included Apollo Road, an extension of Apollo Road from this property heading easterly to connect, which would ultimately go to El Camino. If that connection were in place as part of this project, you would have significant traffic relief on Mission Avenue and 76. And a prior council, including the mayor, voted to remove that extension of Apollo Road. So to me, you can't have it both ways. You can't remove key segments of roadways from the city's circulation element and then wonder why you have traffic congestion in other areas. But I do have a question for the city planner. On your slide under it's like the next to last slide, you make a comment that says extensive analysis clearly demonstrates that the appellant has not provided any basis to warrant overturning the Planning Commission's approval of the project. Do you still stand by that, sir?
Councilmember Weiss, I do.
And I will move approval of staff's recommendation.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Kai?
I just have a quick question for the applicant. We've heard a lot tonight from our local community, and that's a priority for me, is to make sure this project is a benefit to Oceanside and not just tourists. We have multiple high schools with surf teams. You saw some of the young children out here who this will be a great asset to them growing up. Do we have a commitment that we're going to include the city and make sure it's available to our residents and our kids and actually make this a community resource?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see Ocean Camp as what I would call community conscious. And just a community asset for Oceanside. And we realize that part of that is to have Oceanside surfers be able to surf there on some sort of priority basis, and hopefully also for a discount as well. One of the speakers talked about the Surf Summit, which was the symposium in La Jolla. I went for that for 2 days. One of the issues that came up was how the repetition that you can get from surfing in a surf park can enhance your surfing skill by orders of magnitude compared to surfing in the ocean. Not that surfing in the ocean isn't great, but by being able to do the same maneuver over and over on a predictable wave, your skill level goes way up. So one of the things that we get excited about is the Oceanside high school surf teams being able to be the best in the county, the best in Southern California, maybe the best in California, because they get to practice at the Ocean Camp Wave Park and have the consistency of that.
Okay. And I think, we've heard some comments tonight that why would you build a wave pool next to the ocean? But I do think this is the demographic that would use that. It's people that surf that will use it on a daily basis, especially when there's no waves. Someone who's grown up surfing, I know this would have been a fantastic resource. But again, that's why I want to reiterate my priority to make sure we keep this accessible to Oceanside and make sure our children get a chance to use it.
Yeah, well, thank you. We feel the same way, and we're already exploring partnerships with the school district and also with other surf-oriented groups in Oceanside to do just that.
Okay, with that, I'll second the motion for approval.
Thank you. No other lights. I did have several concerns about this project, and I have been sharing those concerns with staff. The first concern that I shared was, we need affordable housing. We need to have it built. And I was not happy that what was the original plan was to build, I think, was it 5% or however many, but that changed. And I do very much appreciate that because I really wanted it on site. 70 affordable units for low income versus moderate. We really desperately need low, and I'm really, really happy that that has been included. I also asked the question about short-term vacation rentals, that they not be, that those be banned on this project, and that was also another agreement, and I appreciate that very much. I also asked our water director, our utilities director, Ms. Lindsay Leahy, I don't know if she's still here, regarding the use of water. The concerns that I had were, well, you know, is this going to be an impact to our ratepayers? And she is here. She's approaching the podium, because we are in a drought and things are going to get worse. And I have to be able to explain to the community the use of this water and, you know, is this really an impact? Would this be an impact to ratepayers, especially residents? And Ms. Leahy, you actually indicated that that would not be the case. And could you explain that again?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Lindsay Leahy, Water Utilities Director. So any cost of producing water are already included in our existing rates as well as projected into our financial model for future rates. This includes existing capital projects, which we've constructed, including Pure Water Oceanside and developments of our recycled water program to develop our local water supply, as well as any future capital projects and programs. Development of this specific project would not specifically impact our water rates. Any water consumption used by this project would be paid for by the project itself. Additionally, just looking at the consumption of the project, specifically the wave pool itself would use approximately 0.13% of our total water consumption within the city for the year. And the project as a whole, including the projected hotel, commercial, and residential, would use approximately 0.84, so less than 1% of the total consumption of water in the city. So it would not have a direct impact on rates to other residents just because of this construction.
And any loss is based on the rate of evaporation because it's recycled water, right?
I'm not specific.
The water that is being lost is because of evaporation rates.
That would be correct. There's water loss due to evaporation from the lagoon, as well as backwashing of the filters from my understanding of the technology. I'm not an expert. However, that is part of the calculation that goes into the wave pool consumption.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I also was on the council when we approved the previous project, and I'm actually honored. I'm glad that we are honoring the neighborhood request, which was not to connect Paula Road, because that neighborhood is truly just would be hugely impacted by cross traffic. And as I understand it, they still wanted that. So I'm actually, glad that we still have that, that we are not going to be requiring Paula Road to be built straight through. And having heard everyone, this is, I do appreciate that we're talking about livable wage jobs, that going forward, there are going to be more jobs, comparing it to the previous project, and that this is going to actually end up being less traffic than the previous project. That definitely is another issue. That was also another issue for me, was the traffic. So I'm going to be supporting this project. I do feel that, the other thing before I say that, the cap of 700, which is, my question was, well, this has to come back to us. I understand that. And this has to be agreed by there needs to be an agreement regarding the housing and the numbers. If they were to ask for more than 700 based on, I don't know, density bonus, would we have to approve that as a right?
Well, you're approving, assuming you vote to approve it, a mixed use development plan that has a cap of 700 units. So if a
that's a
developer, if a developer would want to exceed that, you'd have your discretion to approve or deny it with an amendment to the plan.
All right.
But
I just wanted to make sure you said that out loud so that we know, because I'm basing my vote on what's before me, and that says 700 cap.
It doesn't preclude someone from asking, just to be clear. So,
all right. Thank you. Let's vote.
Motion approved, 4-0.
Thank you. Could you please calmly leave, because we still have our business here. Very critical issue here. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming.